So we're on the Eurotunnel. Good news is the camper van does fit, which is awesome. So when you're being treated for cancer, they say it's really good to have some goals in mind to keep you motivated to live. I'm pretty flipping motivated anyway, but one of ours was that we were going to cycle through the tulip fields and go to the Keukenhof in Holland in spring. We're a little bit later than we would have been because of Fee's marathon, but here we are, we made it. So
interesting fact, stay after the marathon, cycling is easier than walking. Yeah, it's an interesting fact.
This is what I mean by adventure. Adventure doesn't have to be huge. I was very conscious going to Banff Film Festival the other day that some people's idea of adventure is, you know, dragging a kayak across the Antarctic and doing whitewater rafting. And here I am using the word adventure, more adventure, less admin, in the context of cycling around some tulip fields. But hey, you know, some people, you know, stay at home and put the heating on. But yeah, we are at least on a tandem. We did have our perfectly good Bromptons that we could have ridden, but we decided it would be more of an adventure at least to get on a silly two-seater bike. So here we are. And it's funny because, Fee has to pedal at the same time as me. Or not. She hasn't got any brakes, which she's not entirely happy about. But it has definitely made it more entertaining. So, yeah, we're having fun. And we'll show you around some flowers shortly. All right. See ya. Look at all those tulips in the background. I have to say we are a little bit late in the year because a lot of the fields are dead / they've cut off the heads of them, which is apparently what they do. But this field behind us, this is nice. I hadn't appreciated that the reason they grow so many here isn't actually for the tulips, it's for the bulbs. So they come and lop all the heads off, which is what they've done to a lot of them around here. And then they dig up the bulbs and sell those. So the flowers are just a byproduct of the bulb industry. Who knew, hey? Educational. Right, I better concentrate, otherwise I'm going to crash Mrs. Cribb into the water. So this is what most of the fields look like. The flowers are missing. All of the green bits are there where they're going to grow the bulbs, but they've de-headed them, which is sad, isn't it, Fee?
It's very sad.
Yeah, we come all this way. Yeah. Luckily, you know, there's still plenty, but not quite the unending strips of colour that we were hoping for. But still a lovely little ride. Oh, car. So we've got off the bikes because, frankly, our bottoms are so sore that we can't cycle any further. So we're just doing a little waddle, and we found a beach.
I was already waddling.
Yeah, Fee was waddling post her run. And now, not only, I think as the pain in your bum taking your mind off the pain in your legs.
Actually.
There you go. See, effective. Yeah, it's got these big seats on it, and they hurt. Anyway, we found a beach, and we were dreaming of white sands and turquoise water. Let me turn you around and show you. I don't know if you can pick up the colour of that sea. It's sort of like a, would you say turgid? Is turgid a colour? Was that an adjective? Yeah, it's just brown, so it's not quite turquoise, but still, you know, it's a nice spot. And it's frankly just nice to be off the bike. Do you think we should have a beer? All right. Probably a little bit hard to see here, but this guy, it's very windy, is literally chopping the heads off of the tulips. So this field was full yesterday. And yeah, I don't know how you could do that for a living. Wouldn't you feel guilty? Although what it actually means is that all of the energy from the plant gets sucked back into the bulb. So I suppose it's good for next year's life. But still, man, you'd feel bad taking all of these beautiful fields and basically making them all green instead of colourful.
Bloom jet.
Finally, Fifi. Fee's excited because we are literally, well, we were the first people into the Keukenhof at 8 a.m. Although we bought coffee, so now we're like the, I don't know, fourth people in, and we've splashed out. We splashed out the big bucks after yesterday's disappointment of finding field after field of dead flowers. We've paid our money, and now we're going to see live ones. If I spin you around, look, this is only the entrance. Look at this. Hang on. Look, actual real live flowers. Fifi will be excited all day, won't you?
Yes, I'll be excited all day.
Fifi's in her element. She's so excited. She loves spring flowers. She's in amazement. I'll tell you what I'm in amazement about though, because I love cycling. And the cycle here, so we've parked the camper. We haven't used it for getting around since. We just used the bikes. But the cycle infrastructure, I know Holland is famous for it. But oh my God, it's incredible. We did 30 minutes, 10K on the way here. I didn't put my foot down once. Literally, you know, in England, like the cycle lanes just finish. You're riding along and then they just stop and you have to work out what you're doing. Or they stop for every junction. And let the cars across. Here, like, they're just so well connected. The cycle lanes do not finish. There's never a break, and they're all really well signposted, and they all just go round the roundabouts and cut across the sort of traffic. It's quite incredible. Like, it's hard to explain until you've actually ridden it. But God, we're so far behind. And it's not that the weather's better here because it's freezing. But yeah, we've got a thing or two to learn. I know it's controversial for some reason, cycle lanes in England, but wow, it was an incredible experience. This place is absolutely stunning. Look at this. Just beautiful. I can't believe how quiet it is. Later on, this will be absolutely mobbed. This is the same little stretch that Fee and I had to ourselves when we arrived this morning. But early bird catches the worm and all that. Look, absolutely stunning. Right. Fee's miles behind. Honestly, it'll be packed by the time we get to the really exciting bits. Cheers. We're going up the windmill. Obviously, can't come here and not go up a windmill. There's a lot of signs in the world that say danger, but this one I think is actually probably pretty accurate, because if you go over there, you'll basically be completely knocked out by this windmill, which is beautiful. A windmill and fields full of tulips. It doesn't get any more Dutch than that, does it? We are on our way to get on a boat where we anticipate going through the empty fields where the tulips and the flowers used to be. Because, as you know, we cycled them yesterday and most of the flowers seem to be missing. But hey, we'll see. So we're on the boat and the guide's done quite well, because after miles and miles and miles of fields full of where flowers once would have been, we've now found a little bit of colour. So today we're going to head into Utrecht. Let me just show you around. This is our very convenient campsite. It's about 5-6k north of Utrecht. It's amazing that it can be so rural. Let me just turn you round. You can sort of maybe just about see the edge of the city on the horizon there. It's not far. And again, one of the lovely things about the Netherlands is there's just so much water. So we're 5k from the centre of the city, probably only about 1k from the edge of the city. Yet it feels so rural in this little park area. So yeah, definitely feels like an adventure when you wake up somewhere so beautiful and so easy to do. We're off to Utrecht. Mrs. Squibb is behind. It's a bit windy, so I'm talking close. She's got her own bike today. She's happy. She can brake, accelerate, do what she likes. Ignore me. Life is good. Once again, using the ridiculously extensive bike network. Oh look, we're going to join a bike lane. Right on cue. Everywhere. It's super easy. We have a lot to learn in the UK as we just makes getting around so simple and fun, because riding puts a smile on your face. She goes. Yeah. So, cool place, Utrecht. I really liked it, actually. Smaller than Amsterdam, bit quieter. But yeah, really cool. The cafe culture, so many bars and restaurants and coffee shops, really amazing. Made me a little bit sad certainly for Bournemouth, my hometown. I don't know about elsewhere, but hospitality is really struggling at the moment in the UK, and it was interesting just to see how busy it was here in Utrecht. Really, really enjoyed it. Good vibes. So I mentioned before, mildly facetiously, I suppose, that this idea of more adventure, less admin, and this concept of what is adventure really, because it could be argued that a little road trip to the Netherlands, is not particularly adventurous, like I say, compared to dragging a kayak across the Antarctic. But the thing is that there is something adventurous about travel, isn't there? Like, and again, compared to the admin of just sitting at home on your laptop, just getting out there on the road is amazing. And when you go new places, you learn lots of things. Like, I think I've been to the Netherlands before, maybe actually post kids, so 15 years ago. And then once before that, maybe 20 odd years ago. But I hadn't really had time then, probably managing young children, to really appreciate how amazing this place is. There's just water and bridges absolutely everywhere. And then maybe it's this myth that, the Netherlands is fundamentally under sea level. And I think a decent chunk of it is. But they've just got this phenomenal system of managing huge swathes of water. Like, we've been driving all the way around from Lisse, where we were staying, to Utrecht, where we are now. And I'm just constantly next to canals, and the water is above your head a lot of the time as you drive along the roads that are below the sort of the dikes. And this sort of system of managing all of this water where they reclaim the land, and it's phenomenal. And that is what makes life, I think, exciting, isn't it? So it is an adventure because you're finding new places and learning new things. And that trip to the Keukenhof, that was incredible. Just 7 million tulips in one field. Absolutely beautiful. Look, and there's some people swimming behind me. So I'm going to walk as I talk, as they're swimming in this lake. So there's something just about being on the road. Like, literally, as I got on the Eurotunnel, I just felt excited. Like, travel is adventure, even if you're in a luxury motorhome, and in essence, therefore, you've got some comforts, and we've got electric bikes and stuff. So it's not necessarily hard, but it is exciting and it is interesting, and it's just better than being sat at home on the sofa. And I'm really, really loving Holland, the Netherlands. I could live here. It's just really chilled. And I didn't realise it's taken me to get to 50. Do you know the difference between the Netherlands and Holland? I never appreciated this. I just thought it was like the English name and the foreign name. But Holland, there's North Holland and South Holland. And they are, in essence, 2 districts of the Netherlands, but they're the most known ones. That's where most of the people live. And that's it. It was only a 6-nighter, just a real mini trip. Tulips for part of it. Utrecht for the sort of, let's see a little bit of city, see a bit of the canals. We're back to the UK in the morning, up early, going to be on the road again about 6 a.m, get back on the Eurotunnel, which is a bit silly really, because paying all that money to get the van on the tunnel and only staying for 6 days, really we should have tried to make it a longer trip, but we got stuff to get back to the UK for. So that's it, just a cheeky little mini adventure. Flowers, canals, coffee shops, food, and we head back. Talking to the Eurotunnel, I'll sort out the costs and I'll let you know what it costs to do this cheeky adventure. But I would say as an easy journey from the UK, heading over to the Netherlands, then yeah, it's a cool little, more adventure, less admin kind of trip. I'll bring you the details probably when I get back to my office in England. All right, much love. Okay, back in the UK, totaled up the numbers. Just thought it might be useful in case you decide you want to follow in our footsteps and do something similar. Then I thought I'd run through the costs. So first of all, most expensive thing, and the reason to go for longer, like you need an excuse to go for a longer holiday. Weird to be back. But the Eurotunnel was £430, which was the most expensive thing by far that we did. But it was really slick. We ended up being, I think, a couple of hours on the way back. There was no traffic. We got up early and left. We ended up being a couple of hours early for our train, but they just let us on the next train. We literally drove straight through. Didn't stop at the services at the check-in. What's it called? Terminal. Didn't stop at the terminal at all. Just went straight through, which was super handy. So, but it was quite costly. So campsites, they were £190. There was 2 of those. They were pretty much the same price. Pretty good, included electricity and stuff like that. They were quite small sites, but decent. Fuel was, we did 706 miles, bad timing for fuel. It was expensive. I averaged it out at about 190 a litre for diesel, so that came out at £235. Various eating outs most of the time, but we generally had breakfast in the van and normally dinner in the van. We were quite happy to come back to the campsite in the evening and just sort of chill. It was quite nice places, sit in the sunshine. But we ate out. We had, you know, kind of a few coffees, few ice creams, few snacks, few lunches, I guess. Not bad, £145. Then the supermarkets. So we took a pretty full fridge and a bit of food we'd made in advance in the freezer before we went, but we bought some mainly sort of baked items and fresh veggies and stuff. That came out at £55. And then we had the tourism stuff. So that was things like entrance to the Keukenhof, to the boat trips that we did. We did one there. We did another one in Utrecht. So yeah, a few entrance fees and boats and stuff. That came to £125. So in total, £1,180. So I don't know whether you think that's good or bad. Obviously, it does involve having a camper van, so buying that in advance makes the average cost ridiculously expensive. But we do enjoy travelling that way. So that's it. If you fancy it, I recommend it. Trip to the Netherlands. Cheeky little more adventure weekend. All right. Back soon. My next trip is actually a week with my father in Croatia on a little cruise ship. So that'll be out in a few weeks' time. So look out for it. All right. Thanks a lot.